Hey, dear friends, and welcome to another Explaining Through ASMR. Now today, I'd like to go over a topic which I have been thinking about a fair bit recently, and that is the classic content creator conundrum. And that is the sway or the pull of the algorithm and the audience versus your own creative instinct or liking. And I'm going to explain my both my personal experience, maybe some tips, and also I think how I'm hoping I'll be able to conduct myself in the future. So, if you're a astute, very, invested individual in the channel, you may have noticed that there have been a few descriptions where I have written a personal message talking about my kind of internal struggle for what I should make on YouTube. And it's just the classic conundrum that I think many people go through. This is a very impromptu video, by the way, just like the last one, and I have some very brief notes on my iPad over here. Let me see. Yeah, okay, so the first point is that the reason I made this channel, of course, was to help people, to be of assistance to people. Now, there were also other pros to making this type of content that I was hoping to gain, or that I am hoping to gain by doing it, of course, dedicating some time during my week to doing something creative, but also calming, something that I wanted to do for myself. But of course, this point you run into the conundrum, the algorithm, and also what people want versus your own creative instincts. So, I can only choose based on, of course, the variables that I personally find important. So, e.g., personally, I made this channel to help other people, and so analytics, views, engagement, comment are one of the main ways that I gauge my success in terms of how many people I've been able to help. So I think that does, in my mind, trump the card of, my own creative freedom or something like that, because I don't think that I view of myself as an artist. You get that classic word, ASMR artist. But I don't think that I am one, because the goal of my channel is not art, really. The goal of my channel is to provide something of public value. It's to provide educational content to help the average person learn in their relaxation time, and to provide escapism, and of course a valid and valuable way to spend your time and fall asleep and relax yourself before you, go to sleep or chill throughout the day. And since I view that as the main reason for the channel, it means that I think I want to cater slightly more towards what people want. But the line that I've drawn for myself is that I don't want to lose the individual character of the channel. So, e.g., I don't want to lose the educational aspect of the channel, but at the same time, I don't want to be limited to only doing educational videos. Of course, you may have noticed that I'm splitting it up. I do a bit of both, but it does seem that my educational stuff gets a little bit less in terms of views. But, however, my more heavily researched videos, my explaining through ASMR series like this one, do seem to get a bit more views. So, for me, that's a difficult thing to accept because I do really like the outcome of these videos and I like the research better. But man, the explaining through ASMR videos, the amount of work that I put into them is crazy. If you go back and watch my video on xylitol gum or Miracle Drug, the song Miracle Drug, or what is Stoicism, stuff like that, I do quite intense research for those videos. I provide you with, citations and a reference list. And so I'm hesitant to accept that that's what gets me increased viewership because it's so much more work. But at the same time, I like that I'm being pushed to do something more challenging that will improve me more as a content creator and also help me learn. So I'm hoping that I can solidly get back into doing more explaining through ASMR. Now, basically, I think the variable lays really in how important your own creative freedom is versus how important the engagement of your audience is to you. And since, of course, the engagement of my audience is representative of how much I'm helping, at least I think, then that means that I should really be thinking about that more. But I think my problem is more that I prefer to do the easy videos, like the whispering Wikipedia and stuff like that, because I can just sit down and the time goes really quick. But my trigger videos and roleplay videos takes a lot for me to get those lengthy, to make them interesting, stuff like that. But I think that upon kind of utilizing more of my time and using it more effectively, I will be able to bring the Whispering Wikipedia series to a kind of a lower percentage of the weekly videos. Right now, I use them as kind of a fill day. So I'll batch record them and then kind of put them in when I don't have another video to release. But I'm hoping in the future 1 a week will be the amount that I usually do Whispering Wikipedia. But, it's life. I may end up being busy since I am transferring to study 3D animation, specializing in 3D modeling relatively soon. So I think in terms of tips, in terms of what I've been doing and what I think I'll continue to do is, of course, you experiment. If you're a content creator, you make your content, you make a variety. This is similar to how evolution goes with having wide ranges of variability. Because you never know when what you do really fits a niche, really makes success for that video. E.g., my videos used to be entirely without my face in it. But people like looking at faces, they like seeing expressions. They're more drawn to videos with faces in the thumbnail. So I did some face videos, and all of those videos were kind of laid back videos, explaining videos, stuff like that. And then, of course, comparatively, my audiobooks had low viewership. And so I decided to make audiobooks with my face. And that was me identifying what made the successful one type of my videos and trying to bring it to another. So I think if you're a new content creator, similar to me, I would experiment with different types of content and then try and isolate that kind of chemical, that individual compound that makes for a more successful piece of content and a probably better piece of content, and try to bring it into the videos that you are more passionate about. And so I think that that is the crux of my thinking on the issue. And so I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep experimenting, keep pushing the borders, and then learning what's successful and applying that to the stuff that I'm also really passionate about. But I like all of the videos I make, of course. But the battle does exist between what you want to make. But I actually think a lot of the time it's not the creative freedom of the individual that's being sacrificed. I actually think a lot of the time people get told that they don't want to do something, or get told that their audience is going to give them more engagement if they do something different. And that they don't want to change, not necessarily because, their creative freedom is being limited. I think most of the time it's because, if you think about it, you're a bit too lazy to do what's harder. Most of the things, at least from what I've seen personally, a lot of the time most of the things which get you more views or more engagement are more difficult than what gets you less. Of course, there are specific, kind of examples that, show that not to be true, like tapping into a popular niche which just happens to be more popular than another but easier to create, like trigger videos are easier to create in general than role players. But I think when you aside from that, I think in general things like audio quality, video production quality, release schedule, timing, stuff like that, any change in general, I think there's a resistance to it that people have to changing up their content. And I think that I feel it too, and I think that's the main thing that I worry about. Not that, people having a preference in my videos being one way over another is somehow offensive to me, because it isn't. But it's more that I have a resistance to push harder than I have been, but I want to. So I'm glad for the opportunity, and I'm also glad for the pressure. And I wanted to record this as a ramble, which I feel has turned out very ramblish, because, I've gotten feedback saying that people don't mind rambles, so I'm utilizing that variable, and also because I am not completely sure if me reading off notes, solely reading off notes, would accurately depict how I feel about the subject matter, because you don't get the awkward pauses or the breaks or the facial expressions when I'm searching for knowledge or information in my head that I would have given you otherwise. So that's why I did it this way. I can't say that I'll do too much rambling unless it is really heavily suggested, though, because I do feel that the quality of a ramble, it feels slightly alien to me. I'm not used to this, talking in this way without having prepared much content. It's quite difficult. But then again, there I go. I can see when I self-analyze that it is resistance to difficulty, and it's not necessarily the creative freedom. Interesting. Well, if you have any content that you create, of course I would like to see it in the description, because I'm always interested in what the people in my audience do. But if any of this has helped you, or if just chilling out with me has helped you relax, please feel free to tell me, and also to come back. And I'll see you another day. See ya.